You can read on the first slide. If you can follow the instructions to help us with check-in, that would be wonderful. You could put your first name with a dash and then your student's first and last name and grade for the fall. I'm hearing lots of chimes, so good morning to those joining us. We're going to give it one more minute before we begin. We hope you're enjoying the music we're playing this morning. This is our middle school choir. Those who just joined, if you can help us with check-in by putting your first name dash your student's first and last name and apply grade, that would be super helpful for us with all the boxes to check. Thank you so much. All right, it's 9:32. What do you think? All right, we'll get started. Like to introduce myself. I'm Ann Newman. I'm the Chief Advancement Officer here at St. Andrews. I've had the pleasure of being in the community for over 10 years. First, as a parent, my three sons graduated from here, and they're all in high school now. My oldest son is a senior at Archbishop Mitty. So we are in the throes of how all of you are feeling and the unknown of exploring schools and he's running that for himself, but it's a nerve-wracking time. So I feel all of you as you're exploring a school that will be the right fit for your family. We'd like to start today the way that we do with all of our students at St. Andrews, which is a check-in. We care that our students are mentally prepared for the day, feel ready, and so we start every day with a morning meeting in lower school, an advisory meeting in middle school. So we thought we'd do a quick one here. If you could use one word to describe your child that you're considering St. Andrews for, what would it be? Please use the chat. Just go ahead and write in your adjective or word that describes your child. We'll see a little waterfall here. So go right ahead and I'll look at them. Here we go. Observant. Two came in at the same time. Creative, inquisitive, kind, many curious, cheerful, energetic. I hear you, Tony. I have three boys. Observant is such a lovely word, too. Wonderful. Well, these are definitely characteristics we see in our children here every day. It's great. A great way to ground us as we move forward. So we'll move ahead and talk a bit more about the St. Andrews program. There's three pillars that we use to talk about St. Andrews, and that is balanced, complete, and inspiring. And I'm going to go in depth into how our program is complete. We are an independent Episcopal school, and we're founded on the principle of being welcoming and inclusive, but also focused on our students having a very well-rounded, complete education that focuses not only on the core academics, but enables our students to have experiences in specialty classes as well as in character and in spirituality. You'll see here that we have a complete curriculum that moves through many different subject areas. Again, this takes a lot of intentional scheduling through a week by week basis, but our students have from A to T. So we have art, we have chapel, library, of course, our language arts, math, reading, we have religion, we have science, we have service, social studies, Spanish. And so, again, what we're looking at is in a week, how do our students engage in multiple subjects? So, starting with rock solid academics and then going beyond. Okay, so you'll see here just a quick snapshot of our core classes. So every day our students have English, math, science, social studies. In Spanish, it's twice a week for our lower school students, and then it does become a core daily class in middle school. And then we have our specialty classes that are taught by master teachers in art, music, PE, world religion, and technology is integrated into all of our subjects. In terms of our schedule, we run 8:15 to 2:45 for our lower school students. For middle school, we have implemented a new block schedule, which is pretty exciting. So 2 days a week, they are able to have 65-minute classes in those core classes, which allows them to do deeper projects, collaboration, labs. But again, then the rest of the week, they have 45-minute classes in those. And then we've added an exploratory class, which allows our students to have some exposure to very unique classes like photography. In sixth grade, we do focus on wellness. So they are social emotional learning, executive functioning classes. And then in seventh and eighth, they get to really branch out. When we talk about our complete program, that really is about our curriculum, focused, of course, on our expert teachers that are looking at making the curriculum inspiring. They're making sure that we have that hands-on curriculum and a way to engage our students that allows them to go deep into the curriculum, but also, of course, again, just makes learning fun. We know neuroscience backs us up on that. If our students are having fun learning, they're going to learn longer, it's going to stick. And they'll be lifelong learners, which is the goal for our St. Andrews students. Here's a video.
Now, the next thing, I love that we didn't accidentally cut off the madrepore because that's where that stone canal is going to be. The next step is you're going to cut off the rest of these because where's our cut? Oh, there it is. Okay. This is where we're going to be able to see.
This is our middle school science class, where as they develop in their lab expertise, they will do 7 dissections starting in 5th grade over their time at St. Andrews. Wanted to talk a bit about our high school admission process. I know we have many parents on the line that have 3, 4, 5-year-olds, but it goes by quick. And for those that are looking for middle school, it's really important for us to touch upon that we really hold our students' hands when we are guiding them into our high school advising program. We fundamentally believe in a pre-K through 8th education. That is why we don't have a high school, though many of us, including myself, had hoped for one. But that would really change the program. We have our pre-K to 8 students on one campus, and we're really focused on guiding our students to find a high school that is the best fit for them. We have amazing high schools in the area. They all look to St. Andrews for our students. So again, you'll see some ways that we support the students through holding the largest high school fair in the South Bay, to guiding them on their shadow visits, helping them with their resume, writing incredible letters of recommendation, and again, just really holding them through the process and supporting them. This is a sampling of where our students do attend high schools. That is one of the top questions parents ask us. What we find fascinating is that our students don't just follow their friends. It really is about that fit. And you may think that you'll know what high school your child is suited for, but it's amazing in 3 years how quickly they change. They get deeper into what their interests are and also what type of school is the fit. So it's quite a range here. In larger numbers, numbers our students go to the local West Catholic schools. They're amazing. They're college preparatory schools with all of the big programs that we have: band, robotics, music, athletics, and you name it. So that is where you'll see here the larger percentage. But then many are looking at what school is the fit. We have students that go to Harker every year, Sacred Heart School up in Atherton, Castellea, and then here up on the upper right, you'll see some boarding schools. We do have one or two students that choose boarding schools every year. The point of this slide is to show that high schools love our students. They have many opportunities, and it's quite a journey to see what will be the best fit. Our high schools tell us that's one of the benefits of my role when in admission and now in advancement of speaking with our admission directors in the area. And they all say they can tell a St. Andrews student in the first week of school that they're raising their hand, that they're jumping into clubs, that they're leading clubs, that they're class president. Again, that's because they've had their experience here where they're active contributors to their community and they have strong character. All right, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Miss Wen, who will introduce herself and talk about our balance.
Thank you so much, Ms. Annie. Good morning and welcome, everyone. I'm Hua Wen. I am the Director of Enrollment here at St. Andrews. This is my 6th year in this office. And prior to this, I was also a proud St. Andrews parent. So today it's my great pleasure to share this second pillar of our educational philosophy that drew my family initially to St. Andrews a few years ago. That is a balanced approach to education. This is really a fundamental value here we hold dearly, and you will see that through everything we do, and we provide with our students with the just right amount of balance. So our lower school teachers are all trained in responsive classroom approaches. And this is a student-centered approach to discipline, and that's designed to create a safe, enjoyable, and engaging classroom community. Our students, every day, they will start their day with morning meetings. The teachers will write a morning message that will outline the day with different events and schedule and expectations. And then our students, they will choose a very fun way of greeting each other with first names. It could be a fist bump or elbow bump, or maybe passing a ball and just say, "Good morning, Sally. Good morning, Jack." And then after that, the teacher will select a social, emotional related activity that will engage the entire group. So this morning meeting will help our students to transition from their life at home to a more structured environment that has a schedule and has expectations, so that our students are best positioned for that day's learning. And our middle school advisors are all trained, on the other hand, in developmental designs. This is a discipline based on building positive relationships. And the advisories are very similar to morning meetings in terms they have the greetings, sharing part, morning message, and also a group activity. But of course, it's designed for middle school aged students. So this is a picture of our 6th grade advisory group that's right next to our admission office. Every morning during that advisory time, we'll hear the just joyful songs from that room. Sometimes it can be singing, sometimes they're playing a game out on the blacktop, and just without seeing them, you could feel that energy. You know that this is a group of students who wanted to be there, wanted to be in that group, and this is a strong community where they feel safe and engaged. They will support each other in their learning. We have an incredibly strong learning services team here at St. Andrews. And in addition to all the morning meetings and advisories we mentioned this year, we also introduced a new school-wide social emotional learning curriculum that's designed by Fly 5. One of the very exciting piece is a newsletter shared with parents weekly. This allows our parents to be on board with our school in supporting the students in their social emotional learning outside of school. Balance is also reflected in our class sizes. They're small enough to allow individual support. They're also big enough for social development. You can see here at a glance of our class sizes through different grade levels and number of classes, number of teaching, support that group of people. And I want to note that recently we have expanded our 5th grade program from 2 classes to 3 with a lower number of students in each classroom. This gives the opportunity of students who want to join us before middle school to have an additional year to be fully ready for the challenge and rigor of our middle school program. Just like everything else, the daily schedule is very intentional and balanced. So we look at every minute our students spend on campus, make sure they have ample time in classrooms to exercise their brain with rigorous curriculum, and they have enough time to run and jump and stretch their body on playground. And also we make sure every day they have some quiet time for that reflection and gratitude. Another way we implement our balanced education is the focus on developing power skills. As you see, none of these are technical skills, but rather the skills our students will bring them after St. Andrews, whatever they do, wherever they go. So students might be talking to teacher and advocate for themselves. They might be talking to a friend and helping them with a skill. They might be speaking in front of a class or a large audience. Whether they are introverted or extroverted, we want to note that we're not trying to change their personality. We value the diverse personality here, and the focus is really to bring out that inner voice and that confidence to be a strong communicator. A word is fast-paced, but here at St. Andrews, we teach our students and challenge them to slow down so that they can have that time and space to truly listen to different opinions with open heart, open minds, and we ask them to evaluate information carefully before jumping into conclusions so that they become critical thinkers. Through all the morning meetings and advisories, our students have a lot of opportunities to practice that how their words and their actions might impact other people. So over the time, they develop that awareness to for other people's thoughts, feelings, and needs, and become empathetic. So again, we are living in a very competitive world, but here at St. Andrews, our focus is really on that collaboration versus competition. You will see desks are arranged in groups and projects are done in groups, and even competition, when they have the competition, they are against groups. So through all these group activities, our students really learn how to work with each other, work with differences, and become strong collaborators. So again, Overall, we are very proud to share at St. Andrews, we develop leaders, and in high school, they do stand out as leaders wherever they go. So that concludes the second part of the presentation, and I will pass this on to my colleague, Ms. Wendy.
Good morning. My name is Wendy Mazzocco, and I work here in the admission office too at St. Andrews as Associate Director of Admission. And I'm happy to share with you the third pillar of our program, which is the inspiring pillar. And that really starts with our teachers, how passionate they are about teaching in their subjects. 100% of our faculty engages in professional development each year. And part of that inspiration is the field trips that we offer to our students. We really want to give them those hands-on opportunities and let that learning really stick. So in all of our grades, our students will take 3 to 5 field trips each year, even starting at the pre-K level, going to different community spots like the grocery store and the pumpkin patch, and that expands in the 4th grade. We have our first overnight trip to California Gold Rush country, and the overnight trips continue through middle school and 8th grade. Our students go to Washington, D.C. for a week, which is super exciting and something they really look forward to. We're very fortunate at St. Andrews to have full-time extended day faculty. These are faculty of our school, and they get to know our students very well. They are assigned to different grade levels, and we have care for students starting in kindergarten at age 7 a.m. and care goes through 6 p.m. So our students are really well taken care of, our extended day faculty each day of the school week. In terms of enrichment classes, we offer a lot of programs after school, which is really convenient for our students. If they're staying for extended day in the afternoon, they can sign up for enrichment classes, go to the enrichment class and come back to extended day. We hear from parents that this is wonderful. We offer different things each semester, theater, improv, multi-sport, art class, Lego, violin, piano. It changes all the time, but our students really love being able to explore different areas and see what things they can be really passionate about. The extracurriculars at St. Andrews are probably one of the things the students just love the most. There's so many opportunities to explore in different areas, in the arts, different clubs, and I want to talk a little bit more about those clubs for you now. So starting in 3rd grade, we offer garden club and also choir and student council. And so as the students grow, we are able to give them even more opportunities. We have robotics and Minecraft club in grades 5 and 8. We also have writing club. We have marketing club. So the students just have a lot of choices and they can see what they really are interested in. They get to try out a lot of different things. What's really nice is our clubs meet during the school day or school. So we try to free up the afternoon for our students so they can do their other activities after school, but that they can also participate in a lot of the clubs and extracurriculars during the school day. In terms of performing arts, we have our lower school choir. We also have our middle school choir. We incorporate music into our school day. Of course, all of our students have music at least twice a week, but then that expands. In the music program, they'll learn how to read music. They'll start learning to use percussion instruments and Orff instruments in the lower school. And as they go into middle school, then they can pick an instrument to learn. If they already know an instrument, they can continue to grow with that instrument, or they can learn a new instrument. This is our band performing last May, the Heritage Festival. Before we go to the sports program, just our middle school music teacher is really phenomenal. And so he has all these different performing groups. That was a symphonic band. He also has a pop ensemble. So these are groups that he does audition students for, but it's wonderful because even if they're learning, that gives them something just to keep working towards as they expand and learn in the music program here at St. Andrews in middle school. For our sports program, we offer 4 sports for both boys and girls. We have flag football, we have soccer, basketball, and volleyball. We have no cut sports. So if your child has never played before and they want to learn how to play, we encourage them to try out any sport, see what they like. It's a great way to be, our students say, to be with friends and to compete, wear your uniform. And we compete against the Catholic Diocese Middle School, so it's equally matched for us. So it's just a wonderful way for students to get to learn different sports and see what they might want to continue with. Our summer program has been going strong. This will be our 3rd year coming up. We have a director of our extended day and summer program. It's just a wonderful way for students, even new students coming to St. Andrews, to really come on campus, be on campus during the summer and participate in a number of different camps provided. Our extended day is also here providing care if parents want to do that. We also have a junior camp counselor program that's been started with our middle schoolers. So our schoolers are learning how to be camp counselors. Some of the summer program is just something we're really excited about, and we have been getting great feedback from all of our families who have participated. This time I'm going to hand it back over to Anne to talk about our wholehearted pillar.
Thank you so much, Hua and Wendy. I'd also like to introduce Julie Shang as our admission assistant. There's a wave there. You'll get to know her through the process as well. So really, if you look at the foundation of St. Andrews, it is our wholehearted community. It's a journey to be together with families, and you'll see that the wholehearted piece extends all the way through your experience here. The piece we want to share more about is our Episcopal identity. I know for myself and my family, we really had not heard much about Episcopal schools. And what the key fundamental piece is that an Episcopal school was founded to have the most diverse group of students versus there's Catholic schools who were founded to grow their diocese. The Episcopal faith wanted to intentionally grow schools where students came from all backgrounds, all faith backgrounds, to ensure that that true diversity was felt in the classroom. And that is how you grow a community that is kind and empathetic to one another. So you will definitely feel that spirit here. We do have our students attend chapel twice a week. There's a lower school or middle school, and then an all-school assembly chapel on Thursday. And it's really a chance for our community to come together in gratitude and blessing, and all of our students are guided that whatever their faith is or no faith as they come into the community, we respect that, and then we help them, learn about different world religions and have an opportunity to participate in spirituality based on their own belief system. In world religion class, the students have that once a week through their years here. It really is in lower school about celebrating the traditions that each family holds. So if your family is agnostic or atheist, birthdays may be special for you, anniversaries, Sunday dinners. For our families who are Jewish, Christian, Muslim, or Hindu, it'll be about their religious or cultural celebrations. And all of our students are able to talk about those world religions, and then as they move into middle school, they'll discover more about history and those pieces that will help them in world religion in high school. The piece that couples with St. Andrews that you'll hear time and time again is character. Our students are kind, and that is because it is celebrated at St. Andrews. It's expected, and our children feel safe being their kind souls here. And so we really do focus on developing character, specific values we talk about monthly. We give examples, we help our students practice, and that's from an intentional scheduling perspective and practice. Another piece to that is when you practice, you're out in service to community. Our families and our students love to give back, and we do that through our service learning program, where our students go out into the community in middle school twice a year. In lower school, they'll have a theme per year, which does change each year because we want to find out what our students are passionate about. Some might be the environment, where others it might be helping the elderly or animals, you name it. So each year they will have exposure to servicing underrepresented areas of our community, and it just becomes a natural part of their life, which our alumni surveys tell us time and time again that our students continue to serve in their communities. Another very beloved program is our buddy program. From pre-K to grade 4, you are assigned a big buddy at the beginning of the year. It's a very, again, you'll hear this word a lot, intentional process based on personality match. And you during the year, there's multiple opportunities, lunches, book fair, harvest festival, that our buddies get together. Starting in 5th grade, it is quite an honor when you are the big buddy and learn what that is like. So they often commiserate with teachers and parents once they've chased their buddy around the playground for a half hour or so. But it's a very special relationship that's built and cultivated. I want to touch on diversity, equity, and inclusion at St. Andrews. I know it's a word that's often seen in different capacities in corporate policy, in the news. At St. Andrews, it's part of who we are. It was very natural to see the growth in diversity, equity, and inclusion practices because it's what we've done since the inception of our school. How we put it into practice is in having different affinity groups for our parents. We have a parent alliance group that all members of the community, of course, can be part of, that looks at how we focus on DEI at St. Andrews. We also have a diverse learners group. Hold on real quick. I'm just going to mute one of our attendees. That helps our parents that have students with neurodiverse profiles. It is a very active group here at St. Andrews. And then we have an international affinity group for families who are from international background. All right. And then we're going to round out our discussion about our wholehearted community with our parents. Once you meet a St. Andrews parents, you'll feel like you can head for coffee immediately. And that's the common thread that you'll hear, whether you were born here in the US or across the globe, it really is a fundamental thread of commonality around value and what you want for your child in their education and experience. And so we get together a lot. You'll see many parent-led events. We have a very active parent board, our PAB, and room parents, you name it. Lots of ways to get involved. Also recognizing that most of our parents are dual working. So we're very intentional about making volunteering meaningful. There's no requirements. It's something that you'll kind of find your path as you get to know the school. Lastly, before we have an amazing panel that's going to join us today, giving at St. Andrews, giving is part of being a community. You know, we give back to those that give to us. And so we do hold that value at St. Andrews for our students as well as our adults. So that time, talent, treasure, we ask our families to give in each area to the best of their ability. It's participation that matters to us. When you give to our St. Andrews Fund, that is a vote of confidence in the mission and the vision. It's taken very seriously by our head of school, by our board, and by the CAIS, which is our accreditation. They look to see what our parent participation levels are in our fund to show, again, that alignment with mission. But we ask for meaningful gifts. That is true here. It is about families that give at the capacity that's right for them. And we actively encourage our families to look at our flexible tuition program. We're very proud of the fact that 23% of our students participate in flexible tuition. That is a separate application process from admission. It is through Clarity. You'll be able to apply. And then through that process, our business office, led by our CFO and flexible tuition committee, looks at what level of tuition is right for your family. So if tuition is a consideration, which I understand it is for all of us, but if it's in the sense that there's some support needed, we do ask you to apply by February 1st because we do fully utilize our budget for flexible tuition. So it's important to have that application in, and then we will provide a decision on March 20th, the same day as admission decisions go out. What's next? We hope you'll all join us for the open house and bring your children. It's a family event. We want your children to engage with our teachers. We have sample lessons. It's an amazing day on campus. It starts at 9:30 for our kinder through 8th grade and 10 a.m. for our pre-K. More information in Ravenna. Again, our dates, February 1 for priority admission and flexible tuition, and then we provide decisions on March 20th. You have until March 27th to make a decision at 10 a.m. All right. Before we turn to our panel, if you joined us late, please add in your first name, student first and last name, and apply grade in the chat. That helps us mark off that you've been here. So that step is removed from your checklist. All right. Now we're going to have our parents share before our students join us. There we go. I can see who's here. We're thrilled to have 3 of our parents join us, and they're going to share a bit about their experience. I'm going to preface this by saying our student panel is going to join us as soon as they can. They run to jump on this screen. So parents, we may interrupt to make sure that we get enough time with our students, and then we'll circle back with you after they head back to class. All right, I'm going to start with Alon. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to St. Andrews. My name is Alon, and I have 3 kids, 2 of whom are current students. I have an 8th grader named Ben. I was going to say an 8th grader in 8th grade. And I have an alumni who is now a sophomore. And we joined the St. Andrews community when each was in 4th grade and 6th grade. So we're familiar with the lower school and the middle school and what that was like to bring a child from a different school environment. For us, a fairly medium-sized public school, and the older one came from a local independent school. So private school to private school and public school to St. Andrews. We couldn't be more thrilled with our decision. Both kids, after the shadow day, came running up to me and said, "This is where I want to be." And we've never looked back. Every day is exciting. They are a little bit sad to be going into winter break because they will miss school so much. And that is the truth for both of them. I love everything about St. Andrews, but in particular, I think that now that I have one that has graduated and is now in high school, I look back at the middle school years, and it was a terrific time at St. Andrews, but middle school, to be quite honest, is an awkward time. There is a lot going on for them in terms of their intellectual growth, their academic growth, getting a sense of who they are as a social person. And what I feel thankful for is that I trust St. Andrews. I really trust that I have kids who are very different from each other. They had different needs, but those needs are met at St. Andrews because of the really caring teachers who understand what they need in the classroom, outside, whether it's through athletics or student body participation or the music program. There are so many different ways that they can grow and flourish. And I could really go on and on, but I know that other parents want to speak as well. Happy to add more later.
Thank you so much, Alon. Lay, it's nice to see you. Good morning. And then Jenny.
Good morning. Hello, everyone. My name is Lei. I have a daughter named Dory. Now at second grade, we joined when she got into kindergarten. So we've been at St. Andrews for 3 years. Can't believe it. One thing that I really love about St. Andrews is the extended care program. Every day from 2:45 after the school closed to 6 p.m. It's run by an in-house team so that it's always the same group of people, a dedicated staff team that my daughter knows them very well. She see them more as her friends or bigger sisters. Um, and it's just a resource that we can take advantage of. Um, we always like leave until the very last because if we go pick her up like um, before 5 or earlier around that time, she'll actually complain like, come later, come later. And I used to feel bad, like, do you blame us for, leaving you until like the very one of the last two students to be picked up? And she said, I'm totally okay, even if it's only me there. I love the spending time with the other teachers, and they'll play with me, chat with me. That's just so lovely. And make me very, again, yeah, as Elam said, very trusting that I know that my child is taken well care of. And it just, I could see how safe she feels at school, especially for my very sensitive daughter. To find a place that she can fully be herself, it's not that easy. And so that's what I really love about St. Andrews. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The years do go by fast, don't they? I remember when I met you. Hi, Jenny. How are you? Thanks for joining.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jenny Leach, and I have 3 children. Jack is in second grade, and I have 2 older daughters, one who's in a freshman in college and one who's a senior in high school. And we are a new family. So I will have to edit because I totally agree with the extended day. I was going to say 2 things. So first of all, everything that is presented as you go through this process, Jack is just really experiencing that and living that. But I wanted to share 2 things that I feel like you can't learn in these rooms, one of which is the extended day. So I recently resigned from my job and I didn't need it. And his teacher came up saying, you should try extended day. And I was like, oh, it's lovely. I know we don't have to pay for it, but like, I don't need it. And she was like, it's just such a great way for the kids to connect. And really, Jack asked to go every day. So I grew up in Missouri. My daughters were raised there, and we had like 40 kids on the street. And we moved here to California, and I feel like kids are like, it's a little bit busier of a lifestyle and people aren't like playing in the neighborhood. And it's something I really, really missed since we've been here, is like, how can Jack get that experience? And it still gives me like, honestly, like chills down my arms, because it's one thing, like I've even thought about, should we relocate? Like the girls are graduating. He gets this experience and I did not expect it. It's something you can't get. It is that you read so much about play is missing, from kids' lives these days, and all the incredible skills. And every time he comes home, like I just couldn't be more happy because he's getting so much enrichment in the classroom. He's getting a lot more challenge, and we were really looking for that. And I can tell a great story about the parent school connection and partnership with that. But with the extended day, I mean, they're doing all those things that I feel like are just almost a little bit missing from kids' childhood now, of like negotiating. And like when he tells us stories about the rules they make or how they like self-regulate the games and how kids are taking leadership roles. I mean, I get chills every time because I feel like that's what childhood is about. He's getting everything in the classroom, but I did not. It was like just the greatest gift. And I can't emphasize it enough, what a fantastic like bonus it is to his experience. The only other thing I wanted to share is you hear about it, but seeing it in action is the parent school partnership. So, Jack was in a local parish school for his first 3 years, and they happen to not have a phonics program. And so he definitely has some gaps in his learning. And so I've had just such a great connection and stayed in touch with his teacher throughout the semester. But last week, we ended up deciding to have a meeting with a learning specialist. And it's such a, they started out the meeting with like focusing on Jack's strengths because of course he's got a lot of them, but he's challenged in this area. And it was just such a supportive conversation, and it really encapsulated how he is viewed as a whole person. And he could be fine. Like she comes into the classroom and he could figure it out over the course. Like he's doing fine. She integrates into the classroom twice a week, but it was weighing on his heart. He really wants to get up to speed quickly. And so they've already connected me with resources in the community. We've chosen, he doesn't need it, but we've chosen to do like a little bit of support in the community in addition to the classroom, because he just wants to be where his friends are and he just hasn't been exposed to the material, that they got the last couple of years. And so he just wants to get up to speed quickly. But, your students are on, so I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to hand it back up.
Oh, thanks, Jenny. And if you can stay on, because I know there might be questions, just to give more details, parents, that would be lovely if the three of you can stay on. Thank you so much. All right, I do see our students joining. So we're going to start. If you can introduce yourself and share what grade you are in now, what grade you joined St. Andrews. And then I know some of you, this is your first time. So if you can just share something about your experience at St. Andrews, that would be great. And why don't we start with our 8th graders and we'll move down the middle school chain. So let's see, Merity, I thought I saw you here. Is Merity with us? She was on. Let's see. All right, okay, well, we'll start with Timothy. Hi, Timothy.
Hello, I am Timothy. I'm in 8th grade and I joined in 6th grade.
Great. And can you share something about your experience at St. Andrews? Something you're involved in or enjoy?
Last year I started going to the new robotics team that recently opened up, and I've been enjoying it ever since.
Super. Thank you so much. Let's see. I see Caitlin. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi, my name's Caitlin. I'm currently in 8th grade and I joined in 4th grade. And one thing I really like about St. Andrews is the math program. I really love how they can have different levels and they can tailor it to how advanced or what pace you're comfortable with.
Super. Hi, Mateo.
Hello, I'm Mateo. I'm in 7th grade and I joined in pre-K. And I really just like the community at St. Andrews. I like that it's so easy to make friends. So yeah.
Mateo, did you see the picture of you and your parents from the middle school dance?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's awesome. You're gonna be famous. Hi, Ashna.
I'm Ashna. I'm currently in 7th grade, but I joined in pre-K. And I'm part of the service club, so I earn service hours inside and outside of school. And my goal this year is 50 hours, and I'm at 30 hours.
Wow, that is amazing. And I know your parents are supporting that too. That's a lot of driving too, but I know you help us on campus a great deal. Thanks, Ashna. Hi, Annabelle.
Hi, I'm Annabelle. I'm in 8th grade and I joined in 6th grade. And what I like about St. Andrews is how supportive the teachers are about teaching, and they make you feel included and make learning fun.
Hey, Arjun.
My name is Arjun. I'm a 6th grader at St. Andrews right now, and I also joined this year, so I'm new to St. Andrews. And something I like about St. Andrews is that it's like a really wholehearted community, and they have really good athletics.
Super. Arjun, are you doing the new soccer program or did you do flag football?
I did flag football. I'm gonna do basketball in the winter.
Awesome. That's super. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm 7th grade. I joined in 6th grade. And like Tim, I'm in the new robotics team.
Great. Were you at the competition that was here on campus?
Yes.
Great. Awesome. Hi, Sasha. Welcome. Hi. do you mind? I think you just joined us, and I know this
Yeah.
is your first time, and you're new to the school too. Do you mind sharing your name, you've got that, and just something about how your transition's been to St. Andrews or something you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think it's been really well because like people are really nice and it's pretty easy to make new friends.
Great. Hi, Sophie.
Hello, my name is Sophie. I'm in sixth grade and I've been here since pre-K. What I like about St. Andrews is how inclusive everyone is.
Super. That room must be packed. This is a big panel. Thank you all for joining us. This is fantastic. All right, we have a few minutes here before your next class, so we're going to open it up for questions. So if any parent here on the call would like to ask a question of our students, please feel free to unmute or use the chat here. And then students, when you hear the question, if you can raise your hand for me, you can do that either physically or use the icon there and we'll have you answer.
Can the kids talk about the level of academic pressure and the strenuousness of homework at the various levels?
Love it. All right, let's see some hands. I saw Mateo and then Arjun.
I feel like the homework level, I mean, it's not super little, but it's also not a lot. So I feel like you're not super stressed out. And I feel there's like advanced level. So if you feel like you're not being challenged enough, or you could like increase to the advanced. So I feel like it's not super strenuous, but I feel like the academics are pretty like a good level.
Right. Thank you, Arjun, and then Caitlin.
Yeah, so kind of like what Teo said about the homework's also like not, there's a pretty balanced amount, so it's like moderated. And also in class, it's if you're struggling with classwork or it's a bit too easy, you can always like try and transfer to the advanced level. But if it's like a bit too challenging, the teachers do a really good job like helping you.
Super. Caitlin.
I feel like the homework load is really manageable. If you are struggling with it, the teachers are really supportive and they'll always help you. They'll spend extra time with you during office hours or just after school or at lunch or break or any time that you make time to just talk with them through it. And if you feel like you want more, you can always ask for extra work, but you probably won't need it because the school is already at an advanced pace. Even like the regular math track is already a year ahead and the advanced is 2 years ahead. So you probably won't need any extra work, but you should be at a good place.
Caitlin, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the stress level on homework, would you say? Average.
Maybe a 7. So not too easy, but it's very manageable. And I do sports outside still.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. Field trips. Can we have some hands of folks who want to share their field trip experience? Let's see. Go for it, Caitlin.
We have many field trips. In 8th grade this year, we went to DC and we learned a lot from that. We learned about like all the US government and we saw many memorials and different places to visit in the US history. In 7th grade, you go to C Lab and it's like a science camp kind of, and you do a lot of interesting things. And in 6th grade, you go to, I think, Santa Cruz, and there's a lot of fun activities like ropes courses, and you just learn a ton of different interesting things.
Thank you, Ashna.
My favorite field trip was in 4th grade where we went to Gold Country. We did some panning for gold and we learned about what life was like back then and how it changed and the early pioneers when they came to California.
Yeah, that was a great trip. Parents, that's the one field trip that you get to go on that's overnight. They do pick a group of parents to accompany, and it's a great field trip. Arjun, did you want to add?
Yeah, there's also like just like day field trips in middle school because we do a service learning day. I think the sixth graders go to our city forest, and I know the eighth graders go to volunteer at an elementary school. And also they just do some field trips, like just like day field trips instead of like an academic day at school. We just go visit someplace.
You said it. Thank you so much. All right. The next one is, can you share what's your favorite activity at school? So that could be during the day or after school. Let's see. Do we have anyone who's Annabelle? What do you like to do at school?
I don't know. There's I go to a couple clubs, like service club and writers club. They're usually during break or lunch, and you kind of just discuss about what you're gonna do for the next couple weeks. And in the writers club, I have a couple of essays and stories that I published there. So
Great. You're in the St. A today. Yeah, I've seen that. Great. Let's see. I saw another hand here. Favorite activity? Caitlin, go for it.
So this year they've started a new thing called Exploratories, and every Wednesday after school for like an hour and 10 minutes, each semester or maybe semester you get to sign up for a new one, and there's different things like yearbook is happening this time, yoga, UFO games, just a bunch of different things. Last year there was like crafts and photography, and you can choose an activity and you're in that class for a semester, and you just get to learn about something that you might be interested in, and it's something you get to choose.
Super. Can a sixth grader share? I know for sixth grade, there were you were focused on some health and wellness. What did you do for your exploratory, Arjun?
So like again, there's like different exploratories. It's a bit different this system in sixth grade because you don't really sign up. You just like every trimester you get one of the three exploratories assigned to you, and they are really fun, and like Caitlin said, you do get treats sometimes. Like there is coding, there's wellness, and there's executive functioning in sixth grade, and like they try and make it as fun as possible, so it's like fun and it's like
Hey. All right. Oh, here's a fun question. Could you talk about school lunch? Who wants to talk about it? School lunch program. Someone be brave. Come on, you could be. Tell us what the options are here. Oh, Ashna, go for it.
So, on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, our lunch is 45 minutes. It's a normal lunch, so we eat at the lunch tables and then we go to the field and hang out and play. And on Wednesdays and Thursdays, it's a longer lunch. So there's clubs. Like I'm in robotics club on Wednesday, and there's a lot of other clubs like Minecraft club and ensemble and choir.
Great. Who brings their lunch to school? Raise your hand. Brings home lunch, home lunch. And who has My Green Lunch? Oh, so it's pretty even. Yeah, we have My Green Lunch as well. Okay, let's see. We are close here. I'm going to see, I think, is it time, do you think, Wa? Or do we have? Yes. Okay, we have promised the teachers because we have such a big group that want to volunteer. So they have to be to class on time. So we'll help answer some of these questions after they go. Thank you all for trying this out and joining us, students. We appreciate it. So we're going to let the students go. We'll wrap up with all of the rest of you on the call. But thanks again, students. You can head on out.
thank you.
All right. Let's see. Well, we'll go through these questions a little bit. I'm sure our parents can help answer. But since it's 10:28, why don't I pause for a quick second to just thank you all for your time today. If any of you feel like you've had enough information for the day, we appreciate you joining us. We hope to see you at the open house, but we will stay on here for a few more minutes. We do have our parents that were able to stay too if you have questions for them. But if you need to jump off, go right ahead. Thank you. All right. Yes, Alon.
Hi, I just wanted to add on to what the students said in terms of the questions from parents, in terms of the level of academic pressure. I think that St. Andrews is really well balanced there. And I wanted to add, speaking as a parent of a graduate of St. Andrews and how they did in high school. My daughter did really well. Graduating from St. Andrews, was very well prepared. And so in terms of her placement, especially for the Spanish program at St. Andrews is excellent. It's treated in the same way, if you don't already know, in the middle school as core class. And so they get Spanish just as often as they get math or English. And so they do very well in that placement, but also in math, it's the same way. And what Caitlin said about the math program being fun and engaging. My daughter came into St. Andrews taking Russian School of Math and part of problem solving as because she loved math so much and wanted to have that extra enrichment. We didn't push it. It was really her drive. And after she started at St. Andrews, pretty much by 7th grade, she said, she started in 6th grade. She said, I don't want it anymore. I get enough out of class. So I feel like the classroom time is really efficient so that there isn't a lot of sort of busy work in terms of the homework. And then when they graduate from St. Andrews and they go to high school, they're very well prepared to do well in high school. And then I also wanted to add regarding the field trips that in addition to the field trips the students mentioned, there are also optional field trips that were super for our kids. So they have an opportunity in 7th and 8th grade to go to Spain, which is an amazing growth enrichment experience for them because it's actually a homestay. And so they have to be able to fend for themselves in Spanish and stay with a family and get and bond with their classmates and have this great experience. And also my son participated in the optional 1-week New York City trip, which was an art and culture immersion trip. And they went to museums and art galleries and 2 Broadway shows and a big sports event. And again, I think that was part of St. Andrew's scaffolding of maturity, being able to be independent, being able to manage time and energy well, being, such a great experience for them. So I wanted to add and plug those 2 optional field trip experiences for middle school students.
Thank you so much. And Jenny, I wanted to circle back. I know you were sharing that when any transition to a new school, sometimes you uncover things about, your child, and that's what you're looking for. You mentioned that keyword for us is, the triangle, the partnership between student, school, and teacher and learning support. So it sounds like that has worked for you and helping you. Yeah.
Yeah, really, really well. And I feel like it's very, it was very driven by Jack, I definitely had great communication with the teacher throughout the semester. But seeing his desire, because I really think I could see he was getting supported in the classroom. He is a bit of a, goal-oriented, a young boy. And so he was wanting that support, but it's been really lovely. I've been so pleased with that.
Wonderful. And that kind of ties into a question that just came in is providing examples of how teachers and learning support address individual learning styles or needs. So if either of the 3 of you want to add anything to that, I think Jenny, you described some of that exactly. But if there's any other examples.
I can give a super small one, but I think it just speaks to getting to know Jack so quickly. He is not organized. And when we had the parent teacher conference, it's so small, but she was saying it's their first year, I guess, in 2nd grade that you get to store materials in your desk. And And apparently his was just like this hot mess, but she, you know, she automatically saw it and just got a little bin and has little folders, and he's so proud. But for me, especially having, you know, older daughters and seeing how that executive functioning, truthfully, like one of them has, you know, pretty significant ADHD, and I've worked with her so closely and read so many books about it. To see that the teacher notices it right away and gives actual very applicable school tools like to address it, I was like, oh, not in this alone, because it really is such a partnership. And having, you know, nearly raised, you know, she has one more semester in terms of going off to school, but when you have that support and you can get it reinforced and they know all those best practices and research, you don't have to do it alone. So I am just always forever grateful when I can find such a partnership. And I know that's such a small example, but it actually is huge that he's getting that reinforced at school, and I need to do better at home with the organization.
I definitely need some more bins too. They're in high school. Oh, thank you, Jenny. All right. I just want to make sure we're touching on all the questions that were answered. I know there was one about the buddy program, but we missed out. SEL class. I do want to absolutely touch on that. And then parents, if you have any thoughts on that, but I do want to share, we do have an SEL coordinator and school counselor, Mrs. Via Mejor, who is an incredible addition to our faculty. And she has implemented, in addition to what we call our history of SEL and character development, she has implemented a curriculum called Fly 5, and it's a great curriculum if you would like to look it up, with a very strong parent component. And so there is intentional scheduling in the day for social emotional learning. It is a skill, just like learning to sleep in your own bed is a skill. Social skills are considerable for a young child to balance while their brain is developing and they're being asked to do a lot of academic skills. So balancing the intentionality behind skill building in that area is paramount to a child's development as a student, as a human. So we are committed to helping our children, you know, grow and develop in the social emotional area. So hopefully that answered it. If anyone has any more specific thoughts on that, Alon.
I'll just quick add, and I feel like the social emotional learning at St. Andrews gets hit at all different sides. So you'll have somebody on staff talking to the students, but St. Andrews also has a pretty robust parent education component as well. Through Common Grounds and through other programming in terms of talking to parents and getting parenting experts, like nationwide parenting experts through Common Ground, and having access to those materials, and then having coffee talks or experiences where Khadijah Fredericks or other people at the school will talk to parents about what your parenting experience is, and the community that is grown as parents are sharing with each other about what's happening real time, real life with their kids at home, and getting advice and support from other parents. And so it's a really overarching, encompassing approach to SEL.
Thank you, Jenny. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'll piggyback on that. I did, and now it's horrible. It's like too much going on in the holiday season. I'm forgetting the name of the book, but the Common, that I went to the speaker the night before, and then St. Andrews had, you know, an in-person, like coffee talk, and it was so amazing. So just to reiterate that, I did do that, you know, as a new family, and it was fabulous. I love reading all those books on my own and going to those talks, but to have that personal conversation with the parents, you know, your kids are in the hallways with, so to speak, is just really nice to know that you have such an engaged parent community who all, it's that partnership, you know, the school is talking about all what they're doing, you know, and engaging these national speakers, and you get access to that. But then how does it practically affect your community and your child? So I agree, Alon. I loved that.
Thank you, Jenny. And the book, which I'll recommend to everyone, is Never Enough. And it's really an important book to read as you're raising young people. It really helped me as well. So thank you for that. Are there a significant number of students from Sunnyvale, Santa Clara, and Mountain View? And is there a way to connect? Great question. And yes, we pull from, I want to say we have like over 30 zip codes, but they're surrounding the heart of Silicon Valley where we are right off 85. And so we will connect families by zip code. And we do have active carpools that are going both south and north. So yes. Let's see, I think I touched on most of the questions. Oh, okay, thank you. Is there any other questions? Again, you can just ask live.
Hi. Hi. My name is Solmaz. This is the second time I'm attending this meeting because I loved really everything I learned about St. Andrews. And I just was wondering about in the classrooms, different subjects, kids, do they have projects that require teamwork? Like group of students working on a project?
Great question. And I can again answer it quickly. And then if parents want to give examples, but yes, collaboration is a fundamental component and it does start young. And that is because getting to know different student learning styles and how to work with others is so important because, of course, it's how the real world is set up, right? In collaboration with others. So it is a balance that we look at, and it is age appropriate because there are best practices around that for children at different stages of growth. And so, yes, you'll see more and more group projects as they develop, and also in particular subjects. For example, a lot of research around math is that they're getting on the ground in small groups and they're rolling die and they're working with manipulatives and they're building towers. And so in different subject areas, there'll be more collaboration sometimes than others. And then another piece to it is it's very intentional who's grouping with who, in the sense that we make sure our students are mixing with groups, because again, it's learning how to work with students that think, work, look different than you that is so important for the future. So another key area is science, of course, lots of labs, lots of group projects, but I will say our teachers are very creative in collaboration for all subject areas. So I hope that helped. And they do work with the students because I know I was a student that I didn't love group projects. I like to work by myself and get it done and know I could trust myself. And so you'll see that for those students, the teachers are great at helping guide them on how they can be a leader while working with other students. And also they work with some of our quieter students that are more introverted on how they can be a leader and stay true to their personality. So there's a lot of good work that's done in collaboration.
Thank you so much. Can I say something just really
Of
quickly?
course.
I read a book by Jill Boulder, a professor of math education at Stanford, and she was talking about the math, how the children thrive in groups, learning in groups like teamwork you just mentioned. And I'm really glad you mentioned that because it's kind of new information that in science, it's been for a while that kids have in project, but in math, usually schools do not implement that. So like teamwork in math has a really good effect in learning. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. I saw Alon nodding her head, who is our parent education expert and had led it here for many years. So you probably know this research, Alon. I'm betting you do.
Absolutely. And Joe Bowler was actually a Common Ground speaker in previous years too, speaking particularly on that. Yeah, absolutely. There's also great collaboration in music. The students get together and make music together. And I think that there's a lot of learning and friendship building there because they get to see somebody may not be good in math, but they're really good in music, or they learn how to respect each other and value the diversity of their classmates. I think it's another added benefit of group work.
Thank you, Alon. And I'll just finish here on the math topic that we actually selected Bridges is the curriculum that we use. And one of the big factors in us choosing Bridges over some of the other well-known Singapore math and others was based on its collaborative piece. So they do have group projects as part of the curriculum. And so you said it, the research is very sound that also using physical manipulatives in small groups to reinforce the math skills is much more sticky than just doing paper and pen or electronic iPad math practice. So that is best practice for us here. Great, it's 10:43. We'll give it 2 more minutes if anyone has any other questions. We appreciate all of you staying on this long. It is our true intention that you get to know us as well as you can. And so as I was with you, I visited St. Andrews like 5 times before we picked it. There's Alon with 3, so it's a big decision. So please take all the time you need to get to know us. All right, we wish you a beautiful holidays. We hope to see you on campus in January. So take great care over the break. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Jenny, Alon, and Lay. Appreciate you.